place is like perfect for people watching. I have these 3 big windows and there's just the right amount of cars and people who walk by. It's not like super busy. There's just energy here. Today has been very relaxing for me. I didn't get much filming done while I was at the cafe just because I was journaling, I was kind of doing work in my own world, and then also I don't feel fully comfortable whipping out my camera in the middle of a cafe. And it was kind of busy, and yeah, that's something I'm still working on. But it was just such an energy there and I loved it. And I realized that one of the biggest things that's holding me back in a way, back at home, which I've known this for a while, it's the fact that there's really nothing around unless you drive somewhere. So it makes it a lot more difficult to make the decision to go out somewhere because it's so much easier to just stay home. When you're in an environment where there's a bunch of different places that you can go to, you're able to explore and live life more. Even if you're doing the same exact work, if you're able to move from place to place, then it adds that extra level of interest to your life. While we can't always change the environment that we're in, if you have the opportunity to, definitely go for it. Right now, I'm looking for apartments. I still live at home. It has worked thus far because my job keeps me traveling 8 months out of the year. So it really didn't make sense for me to be pouring out money for those 8 months when I'm not going to be in my apartment. But it's come to the point where I am home and I'm wanting to work on things like content creation or my writing or pretty much anything that's not related to my work life. It feels stagnant, and I've come to the realization that while yes, it's important to not use your environment as an excuse as to why you can't progress, I think it's safe to say that yes, I would benefit greatly from moving to a different location that is more aligned with this new season of life that I'm trying to grow into. And that's not an excuse. It's not me trying to find a solution instead of hard work. No, I still do the hard work. You're going to have to learn and grow and evolve in this, but it's going to open a new doorway. I feel like I've hit a ceiling back at home where I keep pushing against it and I feel such friction. That doesn't mean I've stopped pushing, but I do feel I would remove some of that friction and open a new level just by moving. And that was one of the other reasons that I decided to come here to Virginia. I have a few different projects that I'm working on right now, and so I'm continuing to work on them while I'm here and while I'm enjoying myself. But there was really 2 main reasons for coming down here. One, to give me some alone time, pretty much just an area where I can either rot in bed or be productive without getting called right and left. And I wanted to see how I would utilize my time if I was in a space where I had the option to both rest and go out and explore. Because one of my problems is that I've become very accustomed to either just scrolling on my phone or laying in bed or pretty much just staying in one space. So I want to make sure that I have the structures in place that say, while I am used to being at home, it's okay for me to branch out. I think it goes to show that while you can always find a way to make your situation work while you're in it, right? Just because you're able to make do with the circumstances that you start off with doesn't mean you always have to push yourself to do that. So if you have the space to grow, if you have the ability to move, or if you are ready to make that move, that leap, I say go for it, but just know that it's not going to be a cure-all. You are still going to have to face challenges. You're still going to have to fight your bad habits, but it gives you a new energy and a new space to branch off and grow into these better habits and hopefully over time align better with the life that you're aiming for. So though we've recognized the fact that just because you change an environment doesn't exactly mean that that will be a cure-all for you, I do want to highlight a few things that really can be beneficial with switching which environment you're in. Namely, that you are disrupting the rhythms and the routines that you would have had in, say, an environment that you're used to. And sometimes that's really all we need, because while it doesn't completely break us of those habits, if we aren't met with the same cues that we would be, say, in what we're used to, we are able to catch ourselves in the moment, which is sometimes the hardest thing. I know I can't be the only one who wants to change certain aspects about myself, but the thing is, half the time we don't even realize that we're stuck in a cycle or that we're doing the thing we don't want to do until afterwards when we feel terrible about it. But the thing is, when you go someplace that you're not used to, like for example here in Virginia, for me, I wake up and I'm in a space that I don't really know. So then when I see, say, a bit of a mess, like if I leave clothes somewhere because I tried 5 different outfits before I went out, then I'm more keen on cleaning it up because I want the space to look neat. Whereas when you're home and you're rushing around, you know, okay, I can take care of that later, I'm just gonna leave it there. Or even when it comes to being productive, more prone to, oh, let me go try and find a place where I can focus. And because that cycle was disrupted, I am now going to say, oh, hey, how about I do this instead of what I'm used to? And you get the benefit from that. And that is not the only benefit from it. Even in just the 2 days that I've been here, I feel differently. Like I am coming in contact with a version of myself that I don't always have contact with. And again, I can't give that all to the environment. I also have to give some credit to the behaviors that I've taken on since being placed here. I feel pressured to do anything, which in turn makes me want to do more things, which is funny how that works, right? It's like when you are just about to do some activity that you know you're required to do, and then somebody tells you to go do it. Before, you had no problem doing it because you knew that it was your responsibility, you knew you were gonna get it done. But the second somebody tells you, it's like, oh, I do not want to do that anymore. While I do generally hold myself very accountable for certain things, giving myself a little bit less structure actually helps me. And sometimes that's all it takes. Something that I noticed since I've been here is that while I am a steady supporter of the idea that you can't wait until your environment changes for you to change, what I found is definitely that it's much easier to slide into new habits when you're in a new space. You have this golden opportunity to decide who you're gonna be in this moment. When you are in a space where you have already kind of settled into a certain persona, you still have the ability and the opportunity to decide just one day, oh, I'm gonna act like this. It's much easier said than done, but it's much like when you go and travel to another country and you start taking on some of the lifestyle influences from the area that you're in. Yes, it's gonna still take some work, but take advantage of the fact that there's this new energy, there's this world of new opportunity just because you disrupted the flow of things a little bit. And yes, it definitely does help endlessly. I really just wanted to appreciate the fact that while there are certain things in life we can't change, when there is opportunity to seek newness or put yourself in an environment that you're not used to, just go for it. Take that leap because it can open so many doors, so many possibilities. And one of the most important things, the biggest issue that I've found is not that there's a lack of willingness to change. It's more so, it's difficult to catch on when you're falling back into those old routines. When you plant that seed of awareness into your mind, it does make it easier to catch on as time goes on, even when you go back to the environments that initially created those routines.
As I wrap up, I just want to leave you with this. You don't need to move across the country or take a big trip to shake things up. Even small changes, switching up your routine, exploring a new part of your city, or simply breaking your usual patterns, can give your mind the space it needs to rest and grow. It's not a magic fix, but giving yourself those little moments outside of the ordinary can make a real difference. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you find your own ways to step out of the familiar and into something new. I hope to see you again soon in the future. Goodbye for now.